Welcome back, everyone. So this is a Pordacardpus red Embers. Been seen on the channel before. I'll, if I can figure it out, I'll put a little link to the other video. So this was first styled probably summer last year, around that time. Got this from Perrywoods, which is obviously my favourite kind of garden centre around here. Quite an interesting tree, so it's green most of the year, but new growth, and I tend to find over the winter / springtime, it all turns a bit red, or maroon, I suppose you call that colour. So my initial idea with this is obviously the foliage is really quite small, the needles are tiny, and these really only grow to about a foot tall, I believe, even if you leave them to grow in the ground. Yeah, that kind of low growing kind of shrub, more spreading. So yeah, I'm looking more at like a Mame / Shohin size tree, and I'm just trying to all I'm trying to do here is just looking to get branched in the right place for now. Not too worried about ramification. I'm just trying to let it grow out a little bit while it's still in this pot. The trunk isn't actually the thickness I'd like it to be, so I may end up, when I repot this next spring, I may end up putting it in a bigger pot and letting it grow out even more. And some of my trees will root themselves into the ground through the pot as well, which can help thicken them up quicker. My maples do it quite a lot. And even with my Mame trees, I have them on a tray, which I got the idea from Bonsai, where even though your Mames are in quite small pots anyway, you lay them on top of a bed of Akadama, or whatever media you want, but I chose Akadama. And the roots kind of push through the bottom of the pots that you've already got them in, and generally speaking, the longer the roots can run, the quicker the tree grows. Which is also sometimes why a repot can frustrate me. Because although you're repotting it for the future health of the tree, and that's fine, but, you know, for the first, some species, there's tamarind I've got that I repotted, and it didn't actually start growing again for another year. I repotted it, it took a whole year to recover from the repot to then start growing vigorously again. Some species will bounce back quite quickly, like maples and usually deciduous trees. But yes, that's quite a frustrating part, is that you want to get into better soil and you want to get into a nicer pot, but then it can take time to recover. So don't be disheartened when it doesn't start growing straight away after repotting. So I had some options when I first started styling this tree. Obviously, you can see here the two branches on the right, and I did have the option to make it a twin trunk. For some reason, I find it hard to design twin trunk trees. I don't know if that's just more of my education around them and how to style them into looking genuine, or if I just don't really see many twin trunk trees. So I have no real life kind of way of seeing actually how they grow. And I do like to study trees, obviously. But the local ones around me as well, because I find that, and Ryan Hill speaks on this in, I believe, his podcast, which is a great podcast, by the way, Asymmetry. Some great moments in there. But yeah, for me, I'm trying to replicate kind of trees that I see in my perceived reality, rather than trees that I've never seen in my life. Like I could probably look online at pictures of, ancient trees in Japan or America and try and replicate them, but I just don't see enough of them in my day-to-day life to do them any justice. So I'm just trying to replicate trees around me, and obviously I'm from England. south of England, Essex, which has some great natural spaces. And again, there is a video coming soon of my walk around Highlands Park, which is a local park near me, and that's opened my mind up quite a lot. You know, just being a general member of the public, when you're driving down the road and you see, you know, oak trees, everything else, they're usually quite, they're not really that old. Not in my area. If you go further up north, or say London, when I was in London for a couple of days, there were some older trees there. You know, I do have bald cypresses and some ficus that I'm trying to replicate the kind of tropical styles in. I'm not in a tropical climate, but I feel like the people that come from the climates usually do a better job of it. If you look at ficus from like Thailand way, Malaysia, their bonsais are phenomenal. So my plan here is just to get a little guy wire on one of these branches and try and pull it down a little bit. I could have wired around the trunk and pull it down that way, but unfortunately at the moment I don't have any thick wire. I've used it all on repots and other sidings I've done, so I do need to kind of restock on that stuff. So a thinner guy wire will work just as well to pull this branch down a little bit. It's just because it's crossing from the branches on top of it and it looks a bit, I don't know, it could be natural in a way, but it doesn't create any negative space. You can see them kind of conjoining there, and then it creates this little circle, which is very immature in trees. And obviously with bonsai we're trying to create ancient trees, essentially. I've been working a lot on the asymmetry of my trees as well, because asymmetry brings age. So you'll see in some of the recent stylings that I've done, and even in this one, there'll always be a bit of asymmetry, and that's usually, for me, for some reason, I like to push trees out to the right, not to the left. But I think it fits this trunk as well, because this trunk obviously bends off to the left, and the foliage comes back out to the right, and it just gives that kind of balance. It's not a leaning style tree, it's just an informal upright for now. Just me use my trusty B&Q pliers here, rather than proper bonsai pliers. And again, just trying to separate them two branches from each other so there's a bit of space there, negative space. I think I achieved it pretty well. So the eventual height of this tree isn't going to be much higher than what it is now. I'm just hoping for a bit of back budding on some of these. So the second highest branch on the right, I'm hoping for some back budding in there so I can shorten that branch over time. I don't want it to be that long. The one on the bottom right will be that long. And I'm just going to ramify it from there. And obviously the branch on the left needs to grow out considerable amounts. But this will essentially be the kind of size of the tree, I suppose. Build an apex on that and then call it a day. So again, this is another video where there's not much being done here. I've just cut back, a little bit of reshaping. Just little fine tuning bits to just make the tree better every time that you touch it. That's the general idea. Now the weather is warming up outside here in the UK, so a lot of my tropicals will be going outside. I'll probably do an update video on all of my trees before that happens, just because once they're all outside it's a complete mess out there and you can't you can't differentiate between what's what. So yeah, I will be doing an update video soon. I've got the Highlands Park video coming soon, which is more like a walk around kind of chill kind of video, I suppose. I've also got a few more other species that I've worked on, hawthorns, some new purchases. So yeah, looking forward to doing those videos. I've actually still got about 4 that I need to edit and upload as well. So I'm ahead of the game. I've been a bit busy the past couple of weeks. So a couple final looks at the tree. And as always, can't forget a damage cam. I'll see you again soon.